September here, and it's time for you to shred. My birthday's coming soon, and I'm going to teach you how to lose 10 to 15 pounds this month. So this is part one of the live. I need you to go ahead and dive in, take out your pen and notepad. We're going to get locked in together. I'll see you inside the live. So if y'all don't know me, I'm Coach Raj. I've been coaching for over 13 years, certified nutrition and fitness. I work with over thousands of people. Now we got introductions out the way. We're going to just jump straight in. I'm trying to get lean. Everything y'all about to see here, like this is just kind of off the dome, but I like to keep it real like that. You know, we can get all textbook and numbers and all that, but I'm just going to give y'all really the simple foundation. So this was I think it was sometime after Thanksgiving last year. Not this picture, but after Thanksgiving last year, I was like, you know what, I want to start bulking up. Like I'm always doing the lean body thing. I want to bulk up. And I went ahead and did that. Obviously, a little too much. Got a little carried away and I didn't like it. Now I didn't like it. I got to like 196.4 right here. And let me zoom into this chunky ass. I got to 196.4 right here. And I actually would have kept going because I was like, I want to get to 200. I want to sit there for like a few weeks and then kind of work my way down. But to be honest, and it just is what it is. My blood pressure got too high. And so with that, I was like, this bulk ain't worth no damn social media picture. So I had to start cutting down. So this right here was the tail end where I was like, you know what? Like I did 100 days at the beginning of this year without drinking, 102 days. I'm getting my little 2 days without drinking this year. And this was about 60 days into not drinking right here. Well, 59 days or so like that into not drinking right here. But I still like high blood pressure, like things just didn't feel right. And I also felt really winded, out of breath. And I'm like, I don't know how y'all do this bulk and stuff. So I got 196.4. Fast forward to May. This was May. This is just under, I think it's like 10.5, 11 and a half weeks where I took this photo. All right, we got bulked up to here. And then we worked our way all the way down here in May. Now, the cool thing is I gained like a little bit of fluff, summer fun, kids hanging out and everything. But this was 196.4. This was 176.8, 176.9, something like that. Right here, I didn't count calories. I didn't count macros. I just made the meals. The thing is, a lot of y'all have to improve your intuition around your nutrition, which is why this little pyramid over here, we're going to fill in just a little bit with some stuff to kind of get you going with your own little pyramid. Because a lot of time I'll see people complain like, oh, I got to count calories for the rest of my life. Like, no, you don't. With me being a fitness nutrition coach, I'm going to have to count my calories and macros and stuff a lot longer because I have to have full understanding because if I'm coaching somebody through this process and working with them on teaching, I got to know all the ins and outs. Now, the average person, honestly, you can probably count calories anywhere from like 3 to 6 months. And then you're good. Like, I think you kind of get the point after that. You don't have to like really, maybe check in once a month to make sure you're still on point. But the reason it's important is because, your current intuition on nutrition, that's kind of what got you where you're at now. We have to fix that. All right. And so this is why I'm a big proponent of people starting off with the calorie counting and stuff like that about the middle part of their journey. You might be wondering, why is nutrition first? Nutrition is literally the way that I actually made this happen. Now, the cool thing about this transformation right here, and I posted this on Threads and people didn't believe me, but I was like, I did this with like 2 to 3 workouts a week. And quite honest, if we put it on a spectrum, I was closer to like 2 workouts per week than I was working out 3 times a week during this entire, we'll just call it 12 weeks. It was a really 10-week process that I lost 20 pounds, but I worked out less than 3 hours per week in the gym. And probably most weeks was twice. I did walk outside a bit, but only like as my schedule allowed. I think I averaged around like 9K steps or so per day. The last 2 weeks, I was getting up to like 11,000 steps a day. I was really trying to like, push. Contrary to popular belief and like how I was in the past. And some of y'all who might be watching this live right now, y'all like, oh yeah, I know you forever. Y'all knew I was working like a lot. That was my young 20s. I'm 30 now. I got kids. I got work to do. I got to pay bills. I got responsibilities. And I'm just damn tired. I don't want to spend all my time in the gym. I'm sorry. Like I just don't. And I know it sounds so like contradictory, but maybe that's like a relatable point for me as a coach. But like I'm with y'all. Like I like happy hour too. All right. I like burgers too. I like the cheesecake and I like that stuff too. But as you can see, I know how to lock into my nutrition as well because it's because my ass knows how to cook. It's another thing I teach y'all, but we're not going to get into y'all recipes and cooking skills today. All right. Anyway, let's get into the information. As of today, 4 or 5 months ago, I'm still like bouncing between 178 and 179. So like I have pretty much maintained all that. all this, except for I got a little bit of fluff here and there, but I pretty much maintain this. And that's my big thing. Like anybody could go through a little quick transformation like this, but keeping it off, like I do that. All right. So meal plan wise, I want to make this real simple for y'all. So we're going to zoom in here so y'all can see my little sticky note. So meal plan wise, I actually start a little different. When I think meal plan, I think how I'm going to plan out the nutrition. Like what's my plan of action for my meals? And I literally start from ground zero. And so ground zero means in order to have a meal plan, you have to have food. In order to have food, you got to get it from somewhere. Well, where are you going to source your food from? Well, we live in the modern age, so I'm going to go to the grocery store. But I also like save time, so I'm doing curbside pickup. I might do delivery some weeks, but I'm definitely doing curbside pickup. I need to have literally grocery order done at insert time here. So for me, that's going to be could be a Sunday, but Sundays can get a little busy. Sometimes you want to relax. I do like to sometimes get my groceries on Saturday, just so they're there. That way, Sunday I can literally just get up, prep, clean, and once I'm back home from church or whatever. Once I'm done with that, then I can get the cooking. And the next thing is like, what am I going to cook? Now, I've timed all this stuff. When I film content, I'm cooking, and it's actually good content. It takes you 3 hours to set up, clean up, prep, cook, clean up, everything. When I'm not doing content and I'm just cooking and maybe take a little picture at the end, it takes you 2 hours because I still got to, take the angles and pictures and stuff. When I ain't doing absolutely like I'm just cooking and I ain't worried about y'all seeing like my little secrets and stuff. It takes me like just a little bit under 2 hours. And so for y'all, most of y'all probably don't do like food content and all that. I'm in the kitchen whipping X, Y, and Z. But yeah, meal prepping really shouldn't take you more than, I would say if it's your first time, if it's your first month meal prepping, it shouldn't take you no more than 3 hours. If you're like seasoned with this stuff, it shouldn't take you no more than 2 hours. That's all you need. Meal prep on Sunday morning, because Saturday, texture-wise, the food just don't really do what it do. And let's talk about some texture real quick, too. So this is one of the things that I like to get into week by week when I do my meal plan. So here's a hack for y'all. I've been coached for a while. I've coached a lot of people. When I switch my meal plans, typically most of my clients, and it's probably some of my clients watching this live right now, one thing I've noticed is that when I'm like, oh, hey, like, what kind of food changes do you want to make, like recipes and stuff like that, let me know. 75-80% of the time, most of y'all are actually eating the same thing during the week. There's just that 20% where you want to deviate. And so really, literally just get like a piece of paper, journal, and think about like, hey, what do I want to eat for my meals on Saturday? Not Saturday. What do I want to eat for my meals during lunch, during dinner? Like, do I want to change those up? Me personally, I have like two main breakfasts that I like to switch back and forth from. But most of the time, I'm not really eating, at least during the week, I'm not really eating breakfast for like this amazing flavor. I got work to do. So literally get up, get my protein in, and just dive in, get to my work. That's what I do. Now, lunch, sometimes I want a salad. Sometimes I want like a beef bowl or something like that. Like it can change. Same thing with dinner. But you want to find like what are the meals that you just consistently can eat with like it's been the same meal for 5 years. And you still like, I can't wait for that. Write those down, right? It makes your meal prep so much easier. Now, me usually, what I've noticed, is lunch kind of might change, but really for me, it's dinner. Like I'll like 3 different dinners in a week. But once you know yourself, again, this is a part of improving your intuition around your nutrition. So the first thing you need to do, meal plan wise, y'all, is set the stage. And we're going to go into the nitty gritty of meal planning, like what the macros and stuff like that would be. We'll do that tomorrow on part 2 of this live for Shredtember. But grocery shop, set that time, date and time, and how will you meal prep? That means some people think meal prep means like every single meal, which it can be, but you can also do the ingredients. You could also just have everything kind of prepped and prepared and cook as you go during the week. You can kind of do what you want, but you got to know your schedule as well, too, when it comes to that. So for me personally, I know there's 2 weeks in September already where I have family-related stuff and my own stuff going on, to where I'm not going to want to do I'm not going to be able to do a lazy type of meal prep where I just prepare, marinate, and prep my ingredients and stuff. I'm going to have to prep the whole thing because I'm busy. I got to fly this week and that week, got things to do, right? So how you will prep is also another way that's going to help you stay more consistent. And again, so if you're just getting in here, I have this pyramid to the side here. We're just building the foundation. Like, what's the bottom line things that need to happen, such as grocery shopping, meal prep on Sunday morning, knowing how you're going to prep. What are those things that you need to be doing? And then the last thing that I would say is meals per day. How many times a day are you going to eat? If you are someone eating like once or twice per day, you may get advice online where it's like, oh, eat 4 or 5 times a day. And while that is true, it's optimal for you. It's optimal, but it's not practical right now because if you start eating like that now consistently, your body's gonna look at you like, what are you doing? And that's why you fall off after like 1 or maybe even 2 weeks if you make it that far when you try to eat like that. It just don't work out. So set this stage first for the meal planning. The first thing I do right here, I look at my calendar, y'all, and I look at, okay, what can I actually fit in based on stuff I have to do? And that's not really like even my full calendar, but I got like other, stuff that's on the calendar. It's just not all highlighted. But I look at first, like, what are the things that I actually need to do in my calendar and what workouts can I fit in there? So that little glimpse of a calendar right there, 5 times a week working out. I mean, I could, but I'm going to be drained, tired. Like I'm going to be tired. My lower back might are hurting, and that slows all of us down. Nobody likes that. So yeah, we're not doing 5 workouts a week. But what I am going to do is I'm going to work out 3 times a week. And what's that workout split going to look like? I do legs, I do a push, and then I do a full body. That's what I like to kind of spread those out. It might be like a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. It depends on kind of how I feel. On top of that, I'm actually preparing for a 5K. One of my clients wants to run a 5K. That's in 2 months. So I'm going to be starting to run. So anywhere from like 1 to 2 times a week, I'm going to do one of the runs is going to be like a harder run. The other one's going to be like a long run. Just kind of get my body used to just going long spurts. But I'm not necessarily counting these running as one of my workouts for the week. Not even a full body. So like this is going to be kind of sprinkled in there as I see fit with my body. So that's really what I'm doing workout wise. And again, I'm just kind of going surface level right now because we have part 2 tomorrow. We'll get more in depth with this stuff. But for like the workouts that I'm doing for this, remember the workouts is just shaping. This was a lot of hanging ab exercise and crunches right here to get my midsection like that. There's a lot of chest press with dumbbells, curls, and tricep stuff. This is a lot of half squats, and my quads, because they don't really grow like that, and my legs don't respond a lot. That's why I do legs, push, and full body, because part of this full body I always start with lower body, so it's kind of like a second lower body day, and I kind of like sprinkle some upper body moves in there. But really, it's me kind of doing two leg days because my legs just don't grow. But then if I go more than 2 at this grown age, my body gets to hurting in my knee and my tibia and my lower back. So it's like I'm kind of stuck at 2. That's just the cards I'm dealt, y'all. But this is the workout scheme that I'm going to be going for, y'all. Now, sets, reps, tempo, progressive overload, rest times. Like I'll give y'all some more tidbits on that stuff tomorrow's live, but that's pretty much it for that. So what y'all can do before the live tomorrow for this to make more sense is one, make sure you're following me on Facebook, and 2, build your own pyramid. So like if I were to put this stuff inside this pyramid, I would have stuff in here. I would have stuff in here like grocery shop. I could put inside of here, set the meal prep day. Another one could be eat 3 times a day, my bad. Like this is like your foundational skills nutrition. And as you build up, like all the way up here, like this right here is where we count calories and macros. But we can't count calories and macros accurately if we're not even eating 3 times a day. It wouldn't make sense. On top of eating 3 times a day, like just eating healthy in general. Like we got to get these foundational skills first before we get all the way up here where we're carb cycling, counting macros, X, Y, and Z. But that's actually it for this live, y'all. But for those of y'all that have attended the live today, if you check the comments right now, you can actually grab my free meal plans and my sample workouts. So yeah, check that stuff out. It's a free body recomp plan that I created to give you a taste of like what my coaching is like and everything. But these are actual meal plans that I've used, my clients have used, high protein recipes in there, calories, macros, all accounted for. Gym workouts and home workouts are available. So if you only have home and dumbbells available, then you can do that as well too. Oh, but that's your question, Chris. You said, what supplements will you be taking? I'm actually only going to be doing the protein powder and magnesium. I'm doing magnesium glycinate 500 milligrams, but I'm doing protein powder and I'm doing the magnesium glycinate 500 milligrams. I take the magnesium just for my sleep because it really helps me wind down at night. and get a full night's rest. Like I can go to bed early, but I won't stay down, and that'd be the problem for me. I'll toss and turn. I hate that, but magnesium glycinate has really been helping me out. If I take it anytime past 7:30, and I gotta be up at 5 next morning, I'll be up, but I'm just like it don't wear off until like almost 1 p.m. the next day.